Hello everybody. Once again, it's time to do a past CSS battle. The past ones are available if you subscribe. It's a small charge on CSSBattle.dev. Today, or on this video, I plan to do the 16th, 17th, and 18th of July 2023. So let's get started. So we got a letter X here. Pretty sure that I did this with two elements that were set at 45-degree angles, 45 and minus 45, before with a transform. Let's do it a different way. So I'm going to use my blank template, and I think I'm going to avoid using an element to start. Let's see how far we can get without that. So I'll need a margin of 0, and let's start with border. Border solid, and then that color, and then border width. So I want to narrow this down as much as possible. 50, 60, 70. I want that to align completely perfectly, if possible, if I can do that. And it's easier to see that contrast if I put a background. That looks like I've got it. Excuse me, looks like I've got it. So if I change that number, no, that's no good. I got the wrong color. That would explain that. There we go. Okay, so maybe that's 72. And is that 121? 122. That looks right. All right. So the first part of this I want to do is I would like to do a repeating gradient of a circle. Radial gradient. So radial gradient, circle. And I'm going to have it not repeat. And I want it to be start in the upper corner, 0, 0, and I would just want to make it finite size to start. Circle, and then this color, and then I'm going to do some very contrasty color just so I can see what I'm doing. I've got some syntax problem. What is it? I don't know. I don't see anything though. Radial gradient. This is where syntax checkers would be helpful, but I don't see anything. Why? Okay. Okay, that's nothing. Oh, because I don't have any scope on this, do I? No, that's not it. Oh, you know what that is? So the location of this is not 0, 0, because that it needs to be what, over at 72 pixels, 122 pixels? Or is it 122 and 72 pixels? So there's your first caveat of why wasn't I seeing something. So what I had was fine. All right, so I would just like to have that circle be in the right location, and I do want to put it in the upper corner. I feel like that's not big enough, so let's go, what, 25? Yeah, that could be more right. And I'm going to say 5%, 5%. See if I can use percentages. 10%, 20%, 30, 40. And then maybe try 40 on the other one, the next one. Oh, that's close. Might not be right. Might not be right. I'm going to make this transparent. And then put that background color. Okay, so that's not lining up correctly. So if it's 25 pixels, I think I see the problem. I think I need it to be 25 pixels, 25 pixels? Yeah, okay. All right, so now I do want that color back. and I need to make this bigger. So I want to align these circles so that it will repeat here on the x-axis and vertically as well. So I need to make it taller. So 160, that's too tall. How about 120? And then how about 120? Because it's likely to be the same number. And then let's turn off the repeat and see if that's correct. Nope, that's not correct. So how about 110? How about 100? An even 100. Oh, how about 105? 106. That looks correct. So 106, 106. That looks correct. I realize that's sort of bonkers that works the way it does, but it does. So what next is the question. So I think what I want to do, if I put that in the background, then I can solve for the rest of this. Now that background, so to do that, maybe I do want to do an element. Maybe I do. In which case, so I thought I was doing the hard part first. I really wasn't. The hard part is the X part, isn't it? So let's put that element back. And we're going to set up, we're going to make it taller. What's the height? For the body is 106. Well, let's just try numbers. 155, 156. Is that the height? Okay. So a few different ways to do this. I could use clip path is what occurs to me first. Silly as that is. So there's, I just undid all my work. Not crazy about that solution either. It's 156. So what can we do with that? What if we did 4 elements? 1 for each. Break up the problem into smaller problems. Display flex and flex wrap. And then the heights of this guy should be half of that, which is what, 75 and 3 is 78. Width 78 pixels. And there they are, making the whole thing bigger. And that display flex might not be working how I want it to. So that's kind of a mess, right? Let's see. What am I doing wrong here? I got a display flex. Is that math wrong? Did I do wrong math? 70, 60, 50, 40. Okay. So I'm going to do something interesting here. Wow, that's interesting to me. Linear gradient, red, 45 degrees, red, yellow. There we go. So, okay, so I see the first problem. This has a margin on it, and I want those to go away. And the heights on this are inadequate. So I think it is that 76 number, is it? Oh, is it 77? I don't know how to do math. Oh, I didn't do the math. It was 156, and I divided 156 by 2 and got 76. That's not the correct number. Here's your math. Okay, so I'm going to use a technique that I've used before, which is the second one is flopped on the x-axis. The third one is flopped on the y-axis, and the fourth is flopped on both axes. So now I'll do transform perform scale, or yeah, scale var of dash dash x or 1 and var dash dash y or 1. And I believe I do need a comma there. And then when I add an x attribute, so if an element has the x attribute, then the value of dash dash x at CSS custom property is -1, I see a shift occur. And if I do that with y as well, for sanity's sake, I get the same similar effect. Okay. So what I need to create is this inner part, or that block. So what does that look like? I've sort of hinted at what that is. I kind of feel inclined at this point, because I think I know what the math is, to use a clip path. So a clip path will work. So clip path of a polygon, and the points are what? 25%, 25%, comma, 50%, 50%, comma, 100%, 75%. So I'm making points, so you can see that change. It's wrong so far. And then 100%, 100%, and then 50%, 0, or 100%. So we're playing with the symmetry, and the math is all wrong. It's terrible, 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 terrible math. So let's make these more reasonable numbers. Let's make this 50. Nope, that's wrong. How about 30? So what is that square? So if this is the square, so that point is really something like 50%, 10%, something like that. 50%, maybe. This is where drawing it out on graph paper might have been helpful. And this 50%, 50% is no good. That's no good as a number. Okay, so let's, and that should come over to 100%. And so how about try 60? Okay, that's getting there. And then down to the bottom right corner, which is 100%, 100%. And then here, let's do 60%, 100%. And then the final will be something like 0, 20%. So those are our misshapen X. But it's a pretty clean way. Well, none of this is clean. But this is the way I've chosen to do it, and so we're sticking with it. Let's get there. 4, and then let's move this, what, up? 59, 58, 57, 56%, 55. Okay, and if that's correct, maybe this will be 55 as well. Maybe not. And then the final number, what, 21, 22, 23, 25, what, 30, 40, 50, 45. Is that the contra number? So we got a little bit of a divot there that's no good. I think what that means is that we need to be just shy of that. So let's change the color. So that's the shape that we made. I guess we want that final point to come down and over. What if we do 55%? 5% over and then down to 50. Is that, have we stumbled on it? Did we get that big X? Let's put the colors right. Are we closer? That might be right. That might work. It's not, I don't know if right is the right word, but does it match? Does it match? That's our question. That's 100%. So kind of a ridiculous solution in a lot of ways. many ways to do this, and again, I think the solution that I have that's in the backlog was 2 elements, one canted to 45 degrees and the other canted to the opposite. So I'm going to unit place and minify. Not a great score, but it is 100% match, and we will accept that for our purposes. And so that's, and we'll stop there. Optimizations, we got a few spaces in here. These aren't the prettiest numbers in the world. It's possible we don't need this. No, we need the circle. What if we remove the circle keyword? Do we get, yeah? So we can remove that as well. Height, width, transforms we need. The background we need. The clip path we absolutely need. The margin we need. Blah blah blah. Oh, we got a few more spaces that we can remove. Kind of fun. One more submit, and then we're done with that guy. So that was July 16th, 2023. What do we got next? Come on, submit, finish. So I'm waiting for this to finish. Or maybe I'm not going to wait for it to finish. I don't know. Let's get to the next one. All right. What is this? So flopped colors. I feel like this is a shape that I've drawn in my notebook a million times in different iterations. Opposing colors in different formats. So how do we do this shape? Can we do it with a border? We can do the top border with that color, and we can do the bottom border with the color, but we can't do the side borders. It's not going to work that way. I think you actually can decorate borders with specific ways. That would be an option, but I think that's not the correct way to go. So essentially, how do we do this? Let's just do it. I think we're going to use an element here, and we're going to have a linear gradient that goes on the body, that goes from there 50% to there. No, that's not quite, or is that the right color? Yeah, so we need the dark, we actually need the dark blue. And that's the first part of it. So that's our background. And that has an implicit value of 0 degrees. So if I do 0, that is the angle. See? If I set that background to be for the body and the P tag, and set that background, and I'm going to put this first, it still works. And if I nuke this, then that also has that background. So they're sharing, we're using the cascade. So I'm going to put a var on this. I'm going to put a var of --d for direction of 0. And then on the paragraph tag, I'm going to put 180 degrees. And now that element is using the same background, but with a custom property, so that it matches. Now it's a little hard to see what that is now, but by adjusting our margins, 3, actually this one, 4, so there's 4, 1, and by adjusting the height of this element, let's make it 200, 400 tall, 300 tall. So now we're actually in the tricky vein. Because it's hard to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put background, I'm going to override temporarily. Make it a nice crisp yellow. All right, so what we would like to have is the inner part to be completely wrong or look consistent. So we're at 40, and then the height is 200 and 10, 20. And then if I remove this, we should have it. Okay, and then we need the direction. There it is, that's what it was. So the margin, plop, plop, plop. Yeah, I think that's it. Could we do star? Yeah, we can do star there. So that any element has that. Now that also is applying to the HTML element, and in some cases, if you did see styles like this, you would get, you may get side effects. But in this case, we can do that. So I'm submitting initially just to see if we can get it. So that's a nice set of styles by setting a single background, some custom properties. We get it. And unhappily, oh wait, do I have that backwards? I think I have it backwards. So actually I have 0%. So there we go. So that's so good. Let's refresh this page. And I'm going to resubmit and hopefully get a response from that server. This one's that's still going. Okay, so that actually matched. So that's a new high score. So that's actually a nice terse solution. We'll do a minify. I don't think there's any units to replace. And a margin of 40, 40 could just be a margin of 40. And resubmit, and that's even shorter. That's a nice solution. And a better solution than one I ever came up with before. So that's a terrific solve. Great. All right, next. Oh, okay. What's the way to do this? Clip paths. I'm a big fan of clip paths. I think for our purposes here, I'm going to use a similar scenario to the X that we did. And so we're going to just do, actually, we're going to steal from the markup of that one, huh? We'll click copy. And then I'm going to steal that markup there. Markup, not style code, but still. We got to display flex. Which means we're going to need to put some sizes on things. Width, let's try 60. And height, let's try 60 as well. And flex wrap. Wrap. And we're going to need some kind of distinguishing background, a linear gradient of 40%, 40%, sorry, of red, 40% yellow, 0, and then put an angle on it, 45 degrees. And we get all those things, and we need to put that transform in, which is why that even works. Scale bar of --x or 1, comma, bar --y or 1. So now that's doing what I expected to. So let's adjust those margins to get those into place. 3, maybe it's 35. No, I'll stick with 30. 30 is fine. And then how about 50? And then we need to make these wider. 70, 80. So that's not wrapping enough. We've got 3, 100, 110, 20, 30, 140, 50, 150 looks correct. We want to set the margins at 0 of paragraph tags, and we need to make these taller because right now Flex is stretching those. All right. So now we have sort of have that. The angle looks wrong. Yeah, the angle's definitely wrong. We've almost got it, strangely. So the red is this orange. And the other color we can use transparent. Transparent. And that gets us a lot of the way there. Now the angle is clearly the tricky part. We need to make it bigger or smaller. 6, 37, 38. That's all getting worse. How about starting 30? 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. I want the slope of that line to be identical. It's close. How about 39? So close. How about 38.5? 0.6, 0.7. I'm going to try a pixel value. The percentages aren't quite working. 80, 81, 82, 75, 76, 77, 78. We might have it. I'm not seeing a visual flutter from that. Strange solution, yeah. Linear gradient with 38.7%. So that is 100% match though. So we've done it. I don't think it's a better solution. I've got some 700 and greater solution. So this is on the low side, but 100% match is legit. I accept that. So I'll minify and then resubmit and see what the score is like that. But as far as I'm concerned, we've completed what we wanted to do. So that was July 16, 17, and 18 from 2023. I keep doing these. I keep enjoying them. They're always a chance to revisit and learn and look at things. In this case, I could use display grid and then grid template columns of 1FR, 1FR. Many ways to do all these things. You can, for some, the right solution is to place things with a position fixed with the left and right value. But for this one, enjoyable to use a prior one to inspire the next one, because each one is a little bit of a chance to learn something and to try something new. All right, thanks for watching. Have a great day.